Owning 1,500 acres of land comes with a sense of pride, responsibility, and, as I would learn, a knack for navigating legal chaos. My family's property had been in our hands for generations. Dense forests, rolling hills, and a stretch of pristine lakefront. It wasn't just land. It was our heritage, our home, and a sanctuary we had preserved for decades. That all changed when the HOA entered the picture. It began innocuously enough. The HOA managed a small subdivision that bordered our property. For years, interactions had been minimal, mostly pleasantries and occasional disputes over fences or trees. Then, one morning, I received a notice in the mail claiming that the HOA had exercised their rights to sell my land. My stomach dropped. I read the notice several times, hoping my eyes were playing tricks. But no, according to them, the 1,500 acres were theirs now. They cited a vague clause buried deep in the HOA covenants, claiming that failure to pay a series of assessments over decades gave them authority to seize the property. My family had never received these notices, nor had we ever signed anything giving them this power. It was outright fraud. I hired a lawyer, and we quickly discovered that the HOA had been operating in bad faith for years. They had filed fraudulent documents with the county, misrepresented ownership, and even tried to intimidate neighboring landowners who questioned their actions. The magnitude of their scheme was staggering, but instead of being intimidated, I saw an opportunity. Using the same legal principles they had abused, I launched a counterclaim. If the HOA could illegally claim my land, I could, in turn, claim their improperly acquired assets under state law. Their most valuable properties were a collection of lakefront mansions, totaling more than $10 million in assessed value. The HOA had failed to maintain proper titles, and some of the acquisitions were based on similar fraudulent filings that mirrored the way they had tried to seize my land. I filed suit, demanding restitution and asserting my claim over the mansions. The case was headline-worthy. Landowner turns tables on corrupt HOA. In court, the HOA tried to argue that their internal rules gave them authority over adjacent property. But the judge was unyielding. Ownership is ownership, and deeds don't lie. After months of litigation, the ruling came down in my favor. The court declared the HOA's sale of my property illegal, restored my 1,500 acres to me, and authorized me to legally acquire the lakefront mansions as restitution for the fraudulent seizure attempts. The mansions were now mine to manage, sell, or repurpose, and the HOA itself was dissolved under court order due to widespread illegality in their operations. The result was surreal. Walking through my restored land, I couldn't help but marvel at the scale of what had happened. My 1,500 acres were intact, and I had gained control of properties worth more than $10 million, all legally, all as a direct consequence of the HOA's greed and missteps. I sold some of the mansions to fund conservation projects on my land and donated portions to local charities, turning a legal battle into something positive for the community. The rest I kept, enjoying the irony. The HOA that thought they could steal from me had indirectly expanded my holdings exponentially. In the end, the experience taught me a powerful lesson. Knowledge of property law and meticulous record-keeping are invaluable, especially when dealing with organizations that overreach their authority. The HOA underestimated the consequences of their illegal actions, and I, armed with evidence, patience, and legal strategy, was able to turn the tables completely. Now, whenever I sail across the lakefront or hike through the forested hills of my property, I smile. What started as an attempt to steal 1,500 acres ended with the dissolution of a corrupt HOA and the legal acquisition of $10 million in assets. Justice, it seems, has a way of balancing the scales, even if it's in ways nobody expects.